some of the things that we do, like, I know there's certain things that I talk in depth about, and there's certain things I don't talk at all about, right? Because I figured that the experience should take care of itself. And the experience should give you the memory and the moment, the experience to remember it. Like an example, like when people watch, when they come to the Taikai events, they come to whether it's the Tomoe Rushinobi Keiko, the Daikomyosai, the stealth camps, this kind of stuff. You can't watch one of those videos and not see us in nature. You can't not see us in the woods. Not see us wading through water or putting leaves all over us and camouflage, or you know what I'm saying? Do I have to say, okay, we need to connect to nature, or do I just say we go train in nature? You don't really have to talk about it. It is what it is. Do you catch what I'm saying? It's kind of like when people say, last night we talked about Kobayashi Sensei, and some of my experience was him, and some people who don't ever train with me, they don't have any of my books, they don't come to the dojo, they're not training, they have certain questions. But, well, what do you want to know? Want to know the car he drove? Because if you train, you're going to learn what he taught me. So you're getting that instruction. Does that make sense? And sometimes people look too deep into things. Like this one little fun fact is what's going to be a deeper enlightenment. It goes without question that one thing that I do, that a lot of other people have tried, hundreds of thousands of people have tried and have failed at, and for some reason I have been very successful with it, and that's the online training and the distance and having a kind of an online presence, a community, that sort of thing. And one thing that brings them in is certain things, right? But one thing I think that they miss is the purpose of the school, the purpose of what I want the students to be able to do. Like when you're in the online dojo, connecting to nature and being part of nature is a very important aspect to training. It goes beyond the norm. Like here in our school, most people say, no, I go to the dojo, I bow, and that's fine. Or we go to an MMA school or a boxing school or kick, that's fine, that's fine. There's not one better. The way we do things, the way I want the students to be able to do things is when you're training on your own, you should be going to nature. Whether it's your backyard, it's dark, it's the moon is out and you're outside training underneath the moonlight, running through nature. All of this is where you guys should be training. Because you're trying to create an atmosphere to have a skill set that's already naturally programmed in your DNA, survival. So to surround yourself with the most natural environment is what you really need to do to be able to harness that energy. But so many people don't do that. They just, they'll send in, online dojo stuff. They'll send in reviews to where they're constantly like maybe in their living room or whatever, and all that's fine. I don't really care so much about where they're shooting their review videos, but when they're training, they should be training out like this. You know what I mean? They have to. They should do that. Because I think that's one of those things where it helps bring peace and balance of mind. You know what I mean? It's really hard to find balance when you're in a chaotic situation. So you guys, not me, but you guys go to work, you work your 40, whether you like your job or not, you still have someone telling you what to do, plus you have life problems going on, family problems going on, financial problems going, whatever the problem can be, all this chaos, and to find a zero, you need to bring it back to where there's kind of a balance. And this is like the perfect visual of balance. Did you catch what I mean? And for us to find balance, just taking a walk in the woods or going through the park or going through that's like the easiest way to do that. And I hope that the people that study in this organization knows that that's the purpose of what we're trying to create. It's not, I get it, Buddha Rukai, School of War, School of the Warrior Way, that kind of thing, and all these warrior traditions and all that kind of stuff. Well, it's good, but they were fighting for a purpose to hopefully not fight. You know what I mean? And I think, I've said this before in other videos, but I think that a lot of times the majority of the fight that we have is inside us, not outside of us. More people fight those inner demons than they do the ones that's external. Like I'm going to bet the majority of you guys have to fight insecurities, doubt, fear, anxiety, stress, depression, those things. All of you, including myself, we all fight those things more than what we do someone coming up and giving a right grab to your wrist. or someone putting a knife on your throat. You know what I mean? We train in extreme methods to be able to provide an opportunity to understand the smaller things, right? So if you train to the extreme against knives, guns, sticks, well then you should be able to, in theory, you should be able to handle things like words, or internet posts, or random videos of hateful people posting things, you know what I mean, that kind of stuff, because those things aren't nearly as lethal as like a stick, a knife, a gun, that sort of thing, right? However, the reality of it is it's in a different realm. This is the physical realm. You could see the tree. The mental realm is the mind. The emotional realm is those things that are connecting, and then the spiritual realm itself. And all of those need to be trained. If you're only going to train in one area, which is the physical realm, then don't expect yourself to be any more than just a good fighter. You're not going to be a good martial artist, but you'd be a good fighter. There's lots of people who are good at fighting. They can hurt people really well in a variety of different ways. They're not a martial artist, though. Martial artist is understanding how to combine that mind, body, and spirit. And that's where they fail. Like in our school, we have the 5 areas of training, right? And you look at, like, we have the 7 warrior traditions, real quick, 7 traditions, modern variations, supplemental training, survival skills, weight training, right? That kind of thing, sparring, study of the scrolls, Nihon Mushikyu, and then the Sesshin Teki Kyoyo, spiritual refinement. If you look at the 5 areas of training we have within our school, right? If you look at that, most martial arts schools is one of our 5, right? So if you look at our 5, one of those areas is the traditional ryuha. Most people just teach traditional ryuha. You go to traditional school, you learn traditional arts. Then one of our other 5 areas of training is modern variations. Well, that's usually a school. We teach modern combatives, modern self-defense. Over here is Hojo and Do, supplemental training. That's sparring, grappling, survival. Usually that's a survival school, or a kickboxing school, or a kumite, a fight school, or a health club with bodybuilding or something, right? And you have Nihon Mushikyu, study the scrolls. Well, that's usually a study group. You're involved with some group that likes to read books and really get in depth about words of somebody else. And then the last one's Sesshin Teki Kyoyo, spiritual refinement. Well, that's usually you go somewhere else for that, right? And all those different things can be good if you do them in separate, but when you're trying to find balance and you know how to bring it all together, it makes it really rough, right? Like we've talked about the 5 fingers of the hands, right? When you put them together, it's strong. You make a good, right? But you make them go this way, it can be a problem. So we bring them all together, those 5 areas have, something that's more functional, something that we can use, right? And without doubt, you can't train in this organization and not want to connect to nature. I'm not trying to sound like Yoda, where we talk about, he talks about the force and all this kind of stuff, but there's a reality to it. When you come in nature, our bodies is a ball of energy that we can give off energy, receive energy. It's just a receptor. The skin is nothing but a big receptor of energy, right? And if you can tap into that aspect of your training mentally and emotionally and spiritually, you can connect to all the energy around you. Science has proven things like earthing or grounding works against stress and anxiety. And for those of you guys who don't know what that is, if you're my student, I would be fucking shocked. You know what I mean? My students should know exactly what earthing and grounding is, but putting your bare skin on the soil and letting the negative charge and things pull that out of you is proven to work. You know what I mean? And I think things like that needs to happen. If people focused more on making themselves better people and connecting to nature and trying to find balance, we wouldn't be in the position we are socially or in society. But more people want to point their finger and tell you why you're doing something wrong rather than fix their own damn problems. And that's why we're in the position that we're in. Most people just should focus on their own shit, fix their own problems, and then the world will be a much better place.